everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of Road Trippin' with Steve. We're actually here in Chicago at the Koval Distillery. I kind of already spoiled it, but we're here for IMTS 2022. But being a special edition of Road Trippin' with Steve, we got to tour a manufacturing plant before we get started with any of the fun festivities. So come on, let's go check it out. What's up, guys?
Hey!
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome! Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
I am so pumped to be here. I'd like to think I know a lot about distilling, and especially whiskeys and bourbons, but apparently you guys have Chicago bourbon here.
We do.
Well, I'm really excited to learn more about it and maybe be corrected on some things. So.
Of course. I'll give you a tour and then Jesse can give you a tasting later
Sweet.
on and we'll show you the whole process.
Sweet. All right. Well, take
Awesome.
it away.
Yeah, come on.
Wow. So
Yeah,
Robert,
this is it.
tell me about Koval. Like start from the very beginning. How did you guys get here? In fact, what is this place? How did this place start?
We started in 2008.
Okay.
Our original distillery was down the street
Okay.
and it was much smaller, but then we found this building. It was actually metal fabrication before.
Oh, wow.
So it works out for us. We still use the cranes and it just was a perfect fit for what we do. Before we actually look at the still, this is one of the many control panels that we have. So this is what we actually use to control our still.
Control and monitor.
Control, monitor the still, and really make sure that we have all the sensors and all the automation
Yeah,
that
that's amazing.
we can have. Because for us, you know, having a repeatable product and having a high quality product, I know craft often is, people think we have to do everything by hand and hand stir something, but we actually think that
really
we need
it's
to
just
use all the
anything
technology
done well,
we can.
you know?
Exactly.
Just done
That is
right.
the goal. Whatever we can use to get the highest quality product out, that is what we do.
Very cool.
And you can see it on the monitor back there too. This is how we monitor the two stills just when we're around them.
Yeah.
But we have them on our iPads and our iPhones. And sometimes I mess with the distillers and actually turn on and off the lights when I'm back home in Austria.
I don't want to call out any names, but I have been to some very high-end, high-tech manufacturing facilities that don't have machine monitoring as well as that is. So
thank you,
that's
I appreciate
very
that.
impressive.
No, that is one of our things that we've really tried to focus on early on is the automation and the monitoring. And we worked with a German company who we designed the stills with and designed the automation systems with. And that actually has been part of our story, setting up over 150 distilleries in the US and in Uganda, in Finland, in Jerusalem. We've been all over the place bringing distilling to other people and teaching this distilling.
That's awesome. So even though it's in Chicago, this is really like a global thing.
This is with our other sister company. This is a global thing.
Yeah.
Where my colleague and I go and travel the world. And actually in Chicago, we've had over 3,800 people in for distilling workshops where we've taught them in 3-day or 5-day advanced workshops, the basics of mashing, the basics of distilling, and the business and legal aspects for starting a distillery.
That's amazing.
This is where we store a lot of the grain because we've run out of space on our other side for the grain storage. But this is what's going to get used next week for our production. And it's really helpful to have it near the mash reaction tank, to have the cranes to transport it. And with the grain, right here, quick access to the mash reaction tank, but also we have the loading dock here, which we have converted currently to a barrel filling station. These are all new American oak barrels from the barrel mill in Minnesota. But even when they come in very fresh, we try to water them for a couple hours, actually over 24 hours, to make sure that we take the first harshness out and to make sure that they don't leak.
So the oak barrels, they come from Minnesota?
They come from Minnesota.
Does the place in Minnesota, do they char them as well?
So we have worked with the cooperage since the beginning.
Okay.
And because we're organic and kosher certified, it's very important that we seal the barrels with beeswax and that they are specifically manufactured to our purpose.
Okay.
So they do that all there for us.
Okay.
They come completely charred, both the
They do
staves
everything.
and the heads.
Yeah.
And they ship them in on the pallets that you see back there.
All right, so where are we now? Tell me what this big sack is.
So this is essentially where it all starts.
Okay.
We get the grain in. It's all grain from the Midwest, from organic farmers.
Okay.
And we actually mix the grain with water here. It's called
Okay.
the mashing. And
That's where this.
that's where this starts.
Okay.
So this is the mash tank, and the mash tank actually helps us mix the grain and the water together and essentially create a heavy beer.
Okay.
So the heavy beer.
Not like a drinking beer, but like
No, it's
a
really,
slurry.
we leave it all in there, so the whole grain gets put in there. It's
Okay.
more like a slurry. You have to think about it more like heavy cream. So it's
Okay.
pretty thick, but that gives us the most flavor. We don't filter the grains out. We leave it all in. It's all good stuff.
Gotcha. And that's the mash.
And that's the mash.
Now, so this is the starting place. Do you do all of the products at once, or is it a rotation? One like whiskey, then gin, then.
It's a rotation.
Okay.
So we always make a couple weeks of a product.
Okay.
Right now we're making bourbon. It just is much easier
Gotcha.
on our equipment, our production, to make it all in week or month
Yeah.
increments.
Yeah.
So most of the time when we make bourbon, we mix the corn and the millet together, put it all in there, and then a month or 2 months down the line, we do the same thing with rye. But it all starts here. It all starts in the still. We distill with the still loaded up to here with the grain slurry that we
Okay.
produced with the mash. It's steam heated from the bottom, and you start seeing some alcohol vapors. In our still, it gets relatively high, comes up the helmet, goes over the line arm, and into the first column. Now,
Wow.
in the column, we have something called bubble caps. The bubble caps essentially increase the alcohol content. So they allow us to really produce something in a single run. And we can go up in alcohol content to 94% and really have something that is very neutral, which we want for the gin as a base, 94, 95%. But for the whiskey, we turn off certain plates and we're able to distill very low.
Gotcha.
So we get a broader flavor profile, something that is a little more grain focused.
Yeah.
And this column just allows us to do all of that without double distilling. Classic distillation in Scotland would be just a pot, and what you
Right.
see here, a condenser, and you'd have to distill it twice.
Well, Robert, thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's
thank
been
you
a
so
real
much for
pleasure.
coming. I appreciate it.
But before I go, let's try some whiskeys.
You know what you gotta do. Get wild. You ain't gotta play it cool. Get wild. Take a rocket to the moon. Get wild. Get wild. Get wild.
I may have sampled a little too much. I'll be honest with you.
But this was incredible. This was a real treat. I am so glad that we kicked off IMTS Road Trippin' with Steve special edition at a Chicago distillery. Yes, they do make bourbon. It is some of the best bourbon I've ever had. Pappy doesn't have anything on Koval. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe to IMTS Plus or whatever it's called. Thank you.